Hello, welcome to this next video about our vacation in Hyatt Ziva Cancun, which is a beautiful all-inclusive resort located in the city of Cancun, towards the top of the Cancun hotel zone, surrounded on 3 out of 4 sides, 270 degrees by the beautiful ocean, as you can see here. I just want to talk about a little bit about how to read reviews of all-inclusive resorts. I've been to Dominican Republic 5 times, and this is our 7th time in the Cancun area. And one thing that's always tricky is when you're doing research and you're not really sure, right? There's hundreds of resorts. Which one do you choose? That's a tough one because you're choosing a resort basically that has the highest odds of being a resort where you will be happy and have a good experience, but there's never any guarantees in life. You know, anything can happen, sure, right? It could be bad weather, there might be a problem with your room, maybe the TV doesn't work, like for example, our TV doesn't really work right now. So there's really no guarantees. Of course, regarding the TV issue, we'll certainly going to call the front desk about that and see if they can help us with our TV issue. But so nothing is guaranteed. Even in a nice resort like this, there can be a problem with your room. Maybe that is something that'll upset you and you'll leave a 1-star review, or maybe maybe the food is not as good as what you're used to and you're in the area where you live. So a lot of things are subjective. You don't know if you're going to have the best experience that you're imagining. So that's okay, because that's the beautiful thing about life. There's no guarantees, right? However, if you want to increase the odds of having a good experience, you'll have to do your research. Don't just go, I said in a previous video, I use Travelocity and TripAdvisor to do research. I also, obviously, you can watch YouTube videos, and also on TripAdvisor you can look at photos. So you can look at photos, you can watch videos. Now look at the water, it's beautiful. You can watch videos, look at pictures on TripAdvisor, click on travelers photos, and you can see pictures that visitors and guests they're uploading. There's Melody Maker Cancun over there, and next to it is Beach Palace. Can you see Beach Palace? I think, does it say on the side? No. Okay, Beach Palace, Melody Maker. It's over there. Where's the Lara? Secrets Divine Cancun. Near with Carlton. Hard Rock is over there somewhere. Okay, sorry, I digress. So you can watch videos on YouTube. You can look at photos on TripAdvisor. You can read reviews on TripAdvisor. You can read reviews on Travelocity.com. Now, the point of this video is just to say, please don't read 5-star reviews. Now that sounds like a bold statement, but really, what I really mean by that is don't read 5-star reviews that are not helpful, right? Because if someone says that they leave the resort 5 stars on TripAdvisor, so I'm talking about reviews on TripAdvisor and Travelocity. If someone says 5 stars, best hotel ever, I love the pools, I love the beach, the food was amazing, the service was amazing. Yes, if you see 10 reviews like that, maybe you might think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have the best time. But this is based on what someone said about the resort. It doesn't mean that it aligns with your ideal version of what a perfect vacation is. So don't read anything that's 5 stars unless it offers helpful information. For example, if it says 5 stars, they had 2 jacuzzis, they had a gym that overlooks the ocean, and each room has a jacuzzi, and they had salmon at lunch, and they had a milkshake station, and they had a bar with freshly squeezed juices made from fruits, and at night they had entertainment, which they had the circus show, and the employees, I found the employees to be very friendly, and there was an issue with our room, but we called the front desk and they resolved it right away. See, that's specific information. What happened? What objectively happened? Entertainment at night is, okay, that's subjective, but if there's 2 jacuzzis, that's an objective statement. If I don't know, if there's a lot of greenery and a lot of space to walk around, that's also pretty much objective if, I don't know, you see what I'm saying, details that help you understand what it's like to be in the resort. If someone just says something is good or bad, then that's not necessarily something that you can really relate to, right? I mean, if someone says the food is good, what does that mean for you? What does that mean to you? It means absolutely nothing, because you don't know what their preferences are, you don't know what kind of food they're used to, you don't know what their expectations are, you don't know how much money they paid for the resort. If they bought an expensive room for $500 a night and they leave a two-star review saying they're disappointed, maybe it's because they paid $500 a night, but maybe you only paid $400 a night, so maybe you got a good deal. Maybe this person makes $400,000 a year, so they don't mind spending a lot of money on vacation. So even if they're disappointed, they can still leave it 5 stars saying, it was okay. But why would they leave it 5 stars? It's because they make so much money that for them, spending $7 grand on a vacation is not a big deal. But for me, I make, I don't make 6 figures. So for me, it's very important to do my research. People who go on vacation once a year are people who people who save up a lot of money. Yeah, those are the people who might be more critical, because for them it's very important to have a good experience if they really saved up a lot of money. So the way to do that is to really do your research. There's no way around spending lots of time looking at pictures, looking at videos, thinking, do I see myself in that resort? Do I see myself here? Go to Google Maps, click on satellite imagery, click on your resort. Search your resort, zoom in. How big is the territory? Do the pools look big? Right? This all takes time. Read reviews, look at 1-star reviews. What kind of issues are people having? If someone leaves a 1-star review and says they didn't have good alcohol, but you don't drink lots of alcohol, or you don't even like to drink, that's irrelevant for you. Look at reviews that might be relevant to you. If someone says, oh, I booked the expensive ocean view room and I spent so much money, but I didn't like the room, or I spent extra money for, I don't know, the club, and it wasn't worth the money. And if you're not part of that club that costs extra money, that's irrelevant for you. If you're upset because you had to pay $100 for a bottle of wine, yeah, that's not relevant to you if you're not planning to drink wine, because if you're familiar with all-inclusive, you'll understand that yes, most things are inclusive, but not everything. Spa services, expensive, wine at restaurants, they're not included. Excursions are not included. Also, if someone leaves a 1-star review and says that they got sick, that's something important. So things like that you want to flag. I mean, if one person says they got sick, maybe it's from food poisoning at the resort. If many people are saying that, if you're seeing lots of reviews or quite a few reviews, just keep scrolling. Go to TripAdvisor. Keep scrolling through the reviews. Read the bad reviews and see if people are complaining about something, or if people had a bad experience, find out what the reason is. So keep reading reviews and you'll gradually start to form kind of a picture of what's going on here. Granted, I'm not saying that you can predict what your experience is going to be like just from reading reviews, but the whole point of doing research is you're trying to narrow down your choice of resorts until you find a resort that you think will have hopefully not that many problems, good for the money. So what's good for the money? Let me just name a resort. Fiesta Americana Condesa Cancun, which is located in the Cancun Hotel Zone, somewhere in that direction near Hard Rock Hotel Cancun. I think it's next to Hard Rock Hotel Cancun, or it's next to Secrets Divine Cancun, one of those in that area. Good family resort from my experience. Oh, no, sorry, no. Let me backtrack. Fiesta Americana Condesa Cancun, it seems to be a solid resort with a 4.5 out of 5 on Travelocity. We were there for a short tour. We didn't actually stay there, but we visited and they just let us walk around a little bit with a guide. And it looks like a cozy resort. Now, I'm not going to say my recommendation is to go there, but I'm recommending that resort in particular as a possible choice because the price is generally pretty low, especially in September. That resort is not very expensive. Lots of rooms, family resort, generally been ranked and rated pretty high for a few years, at least. So, but you kind of figure that based on what research you're doing. And again, the value for the money is very important. You don't want to, everyone's afraid of spending, feeling like they spent too much money and then not having a good experience. But if it's your first time at all-inclusive, you won't have any reference point, okay? So you cannot say, oh, it's my first time at all-inclusive, I didn't think that it was good value for the money. Well, that's unfortunately, I can't agree or disagree because that's subjective. However, if you go a second time, then you'll have something to compare it to, which was your first time at the all-inclusive. So, important thing is, if you're going for a second time or you're going for a third time, you'll really want to do even more research, because it's going to be important to you to replicate all the good aspects of the last experience that you have. So the only way to do that is just to keep reading and think about what you like. What do you like? Do you like a large pool? Do you not care about pools? Do you want to go on the beach? If you want to go on the beach, go to Hyatt Ziva Cancun or Dream Sands Cancun, which is also in the direction over there. It's kind of at the top of the hotel zone. Rio Palace Las Americas. Think about what you like. Do you like to drink? Do you want people to bring you drinks when you're at the pool? Again, look for those things in your reviews. Do you like to go to the bar at 2 in the morning? Do you want a quiet place? Do you want a party place that plays music at the pool? Do you want a large territory where you can walk around? You see, those are things to think about, because if you want a large territory where you can walk around and enjoy nature, Cancun Hotel Zone might not be the best place for you, with the exception of Hyatt Ziva Cancun. So you might be thinking about a different part of Mexico, maybe Puerto Morelos, which has resorts such as Excellence Riviera Cancun, adults only, which I could not recommend more. It's a fantastic resort. Or you might be thinking about Akumal, places where maybe land is cheaper, so the territories are just enormous, really, really big. Or Playa del Carmen, again, large territories. So something to think about is definitely what do you want? What do you like to do when you go to the resort? Do you like to just sit in one place and just sit at the bar? I don't know. Because some territories are just a little bit smaller and there really isn't a whole lot to do, but maybe that's okay for you, you know. Maybe you don't need to walk around a lot. Maybe you're just too tired, or you don't, or you just the size of the resort is not important to you. But what's important to me in particular is a nice beach, which we can go and show you. And another thing that's important to me is being able to walk around a lot, feeling like you can just take walks. So we're just going to go over to the beach right now, and we're going to show you why this is one of the nicest beaches that I've ever been to. I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to show it to you. So the most important point I'm trying to make here is you want to go to TripAdvisor and Travelocity just to see the reviews and to see like what the resort is rated out of 5. You just go to Travelocity.com, click on hotel plus flight, the city that you're looking for, like Cancun, and then the dates that you would like to go on vacation, or just pick any dates you want a few months from now, and just look at all the ratings, 4.5, 4.7, 4.1, whatever. And TripAdvisor, go to google.com, go to Google and search TripAdvisor best hotels, and then type in the city. So TripAdvisor best hotels Cancun, find a list of the resorts, search by ranking, and you'll get a list based on in the order of which are ranked based on user reviews. So again, the important thing to note here is that you want to don't disregard reviews that are not helpful or not relevant to you at all. So if someone just says like 1 star, the food was terrible, I hated the food. Yeah, well, it's really different if one person says it, you know, once in a while, once in like 10 reviews or 20 reviews, or if every second review is about the food or food poisoning. It's really about what is the frequency that these reviews are kind of appearing. I mean, it's hard to really paint the picture unless you read tons and tons of reviews and just kind of think about, maybe I should look at a different resort, look at reviews for a different resort, because these things take time. You don't just go online and just search best resorts and just pick one in 10 seconds. You know, the other thing to do is also really ask your colleagues. If you're at a workplace where there are people who have possibly been to these vacation destinations like Cancun or Punta Cana, always good to just kind of ask their opinion. So one of my colleagues actually a couple of my colleagues have been to Secrets Maroma Beach, Riviera Cancun, which is located in the city of Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Secrets Maroma, M-A-R-O-M-A, Maroma Beach, Riviera Cancun, and they liked it, so thinking maybe going there in the future, though. It's pretty expensive, actually. So let's take a look at the beach. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Research, ask your colleagues, look at videos on YouTube, look at pictures. Because also on TripAdvisor there's lots of pictures. You can look at travelers' photos and you can see pictures of the food, and pictures of the beach, pictures of the buildings, pictures of the pools, rooms, everything. So it's very nice that people post their pictures there, which is kind of like it's good educational material for everyone else in terms of figuring out what the resort looks like. Because, okay, here's the other thing. Don't look at management photos, okay? I'm 100% serious with you. Don't look at the management photos that are posted by the owners or the operators of the resort. Okay, let me tell you why. Please don't do that. And don't really go on their website unless you want to know about information, like, is it adults only? Do they allow kids under 18 and younger? Younger than 18? Do they, do they have restaurants? How many restaurants do they have? What hours are the buffet open? Do they have, I don't know. Do they have a sports bar? How many pools do they have? Do they have a club section? So that kind of information is useful, but don't look at the photos and don't read any subjective descriptions like, we have an amazing culinary experience. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Food cannot be amazing. I mean, it's what you think about it. It's not amazing or like a diverse culinary experience with lots of flavors. Yeah, I mean, that's subjective. I mean, yeah, if you either like the food or you think it's okay or you don't, but don't read a description based on what the website says. Like, I mean, don't judge based on that, because any management photos, yeah, they can make the resort look like it's the best thing ever. They can show the pools from a certain angle, which make it look bigger. They can show pictures of the rooms, which are immaculate, with flowers and bananas and apples and champagne, and bottles of wine. But the reality is, if some of the rooms are not functioning, for example, we switched rooms, the TV doesn't work, and the bathroom still kind of the toilet bowl still makes this noise because it's kind of leaking a little bit. Yeah, that's not something that the management, the site would say. Like, oh, by the way, one of your toilets might be, the TV might not work, the electrical outlets might not work. The first room we got, the electrical outlets, most of them weren't even working. So I'd plug my laptop in, and it wouldn't charge. So we had to switch rooms because of that. Also, mosquitoes were able to get in between the gap between the door and the doorway. So yeah, stuff like that isn't going to be on the management site. Again, I'm not trying to say anything negative about Hyatt Ziva Cancun, but they really should kind of make an effort to figure out what these issues are in their rooms. Just a note to management, really just kind of If a guest says something about the room, really try to fix the problem, just because otherwise it's never going to go away by itself. So, what was I saying? Okay, so if you go on a website, the hotel website, if you go on the hotel website, you're going to see beautiful pictures, picturesque, landscaping and rooms. You don't look at that because that doesn't usually reflect reality. Now, here's the main point I'm going to say about the management photos. A lot of them are 2, 3, 4 years old. Not such a big deal, right? I mean, the hotel doesn't change, does it? What could be different? Well, let me tell you. Seaweed, one word. Seaweed in the warmer months, is an issue. So I was actually thinking about going to this resort. I'm not going to say which one, but it's located in, because I don't want to draw negative attention to it. But I was thinking about going to this resort. Fine. I'm just going to say which one it is. I was thinking about going to Hard Rock Hotel Riviera Maya, which is located in Mexico. It's in the area called Puerto Aventuras. So it's Hard Rock Hotel Riviera Maya. Huge, beautiful resort. I think like 2,000 rooms or 1,200 rooms. Like it's a huge resort. And the management photos on TripAdvisor. I'm not talking about their website. I'm talking about TripAdvisor now. The management photos on TripAdvisor showed a beach which has clear water and no seaweed. Okay. And I saw a picture from July of this year, 2019, or it was June. It was either June or July, and the beach was covered in seaweed. The lagoon was full of seaweed. There was seaweed everywhere, like a few feet high. It was like something out of, it was just really, 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 and tons of seaweed. People couldn't swim. So someone posted that picture. A traveler posted that picture on the TripAdvisor website. So I was able to see it. It wasn't the management photo. The management photo on TripAdvisor, it previously showed. I was checking in June and July. Okay, maybe in September it doesn't show it anymore. But I'm just giving you an example. So this was June or July of 2019. The management photo of the resort, the profile picture showed beautiful clear water. And when I scrolled through some of the traveler photos, it was a disaster in terms of when that person stayed and when they took that picture, the seaweed was out of control. So as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, if I can't swim in the lagoon and the beach, what's the point of going there? If that's something that's important to me. So I immediately crossed that resort off my list, at least in the warmer months, because seaweed, I think it's called sargassum, it tends to make its appearance in warmer months. So maybe January, February, maybe not so much, but May, June, July, August, yes. I'm not saying seaweed is there all the time in Playa del Carmen and Akumal and Cancun, but it is noticeable to a lot of people who mention it in their reviews and who post pictures. So I'm not trying to scare anyone away. I'm just saying one thing that will help you, that you'll notice when you're doing your research, is you'll uncover things that you otherwise wouldn't have if you just looked at their website, okay? And if a colleague said they traveled in January, well, you might think, oh, I'm going in August, what if there's seaweed? And what if the beach is covered in seaweed? So again, I'm not saying that seaweed is a big deal for you, but it's important to note that things change over time. So if a resort looked a certain way 4 years ago, and the beach is certainly part of the resort, if the resort looks a certain way 4 years ago, and certainly the beach is part of the resort, but the beach has changed in the sense that there's seaweed, then that's something that, if that's important to you, if you prefer not to have too much seaweed on the beach piling up, and maybe it's not going to be cleaned up, then definitely something to think about. If you're looking at reviews that are starting to mention seaweed, especially in warmer months when seaweed is more prevalent, then you might want to just think about either going during a different time when it's cooler, or possibly just keep on researching, because it's not necessarily that seaweed is going to be there constantly during the warmer months, but again, if it's important to you, if it's something that's relevant to you, and it certainly is to a lot of people, then it's best to maybe think about is it something that will really impact my enjoyment of the vacation or not? And definitely one good place to read about seaweed in particular and news that's happening at things that are going on at resorts and maybe the area is just to go to the TripAdvisor forums. You can search on Google TripAdvisor Forum Punta Cana or TripAdvisor Forum Cancun. Any city that you're looking to stay in, TripAdvisor Forum, and then the name of the city. So TripAdvisor Forum Cancun, and click on the link, just kind of and see what people are saying. Maybe you can register for the forums, ask questions for recommendations, or just keep looking through the different pages of topics and see what other people's comments are, because really a lot of people are probably interested in the same things that you are. So you'll find a lot of helpful information there about seaweed and about current news there, maybe topics about new resorts that are opening. So always good to read about these things. I mean, maybe what if there's a new owner of a particular resort? What if there's a new operator? What if they're cutting costs by maybe having fewer options at the buffet? What if something happened at the resort that is good to know about? Because these things won't always be reflected. Certainly negative things will not be reflected on their website. So definitely make it a habit to just, every once in a while check in on the forums. For example, TripAdvisor Forum Cancun, click there and it'll show the latest topics there, just to read about things that are going on. And maybe there's nothing at the time, but certainly every once in a while you'll find something that's interesting or relevant to maybe the resort that you're planning to go to, and things like recommendations. And then always will help you kind of gradually accumulate more knowledge about the location where you're going and the different options that are there in terms of all-inclusive resorts, because it can be fun to do research. You look at the photos on TripAdvisor, the traveler photos, you read the reviews, you look at the reviews on Travelocity, watch YouTube videos, and it's pretty exciting actually. You might think about, can I imagine myself at this particular resort? Can I imagine myself in that pool? Sitting on the beach, just relaxing. Because ultimately, it's going to be your experience, and the best thing that you can do to increase the odds of having a good experience are to just stay current with the news, do your research. And I mean, maybe you don't necessarily have to do research. I mean, if you ask a colleague and they recommend a resort, always okay to follow those recommendations. But there's the bottom line is there's a few key ways to do research which have benefited me definitely, and certainly I cannot understate the importance of just going on TripAdvisor, Travelocity, continuing to just look at videos, photos, and trying to imagine yourself there. And above all, don't really look at 5-star reviews unless they offer helpful information, specific, objective information about the resort. Because someone says the food was inedible. Well, if you take that literally, then you might think that you will not be able to eat anything there. But the truth is maybe someone was upset about something else, or maybe they're used to a certain kind of food where they live. It's just a lot of reviews are so subjective to the point where they're not even helpful anymore. So don't read them. Really, I mean, if you look at all the 5-star reviews and just read only the 5-star reviews, you might think, wow, this resort is so good. I'm going to book there, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But yeah, the truth is that may be true, but keep in mind that you get what you pay for generally. And even though while some resorts offer better value for the money, you generally get what you pay for. So the best thing you can do is do research to find a good resort that has what you're looking for. Maybe you really like a large resort where you can walk around. Maybe you really like receiving drinks by the pool area or by the beach. Maybe you just you want a place where that has a party atmosphere or a quiet atmosphere. Maybe you want the bars to be open very late. Depends what you want, really. And looking at the photos and reviews and videos will help you figure out, oh, well, this is sort of like what I'm looking for. Maybe I like this video that this person made. I'm going to read more about this resort, or if you see one thing that you don't like, oh, this resort looks like has such a small territory, it doesn't look like there's anything to do, or oh, the resort's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, just think about what you want, and then make a list of the resorts that have maybe aspects of it that you think you might enjoy. Think about different areas, not just Cancun. I mean, everyone knows the Cancun hotel zone, but also think about maybe Akumal or Playa del Carmen in Mexico, Playa Mujeres, Puerto Morelos, which has Excellence Riviera, and Cancun, which is a great adults-only resort. So there's always options out there, and you just have to keep looking. For example, Akumal might be cheaper than the Cancun hotel zone, but also has larger territory, there's more animals. So that, and of course read about the seaweed, because for example, if you're planning to go to Akumal, Mexico in warmer months, be prepared that there might be seaweed there, and you'll really want to go to the forums or look at pictures and figure out if that's actually the case, because Akumal is a bit farther from the Cancun International Airport. So if you're really going there for the purpose of snorkeling and enjoying the water and the beach, and there's lots of seaweed piling up, that might hinder, I mean, that might lessen your experience a little bit. That might lessen you might enjoy the experience a little bit less if there's lots of seaweed. So ultimately, do your research. Don't look at 5-star reviews that don't offer anything helpful. Don't, just don't, because all that does is increase your expectations. Really, if someone writes something that is totally subjective, like, oh, I hated the food, yeah, that doesn't help you, because you don't know what their experience was. You don't know what their preferences are. All you know is what your preferences are, maybe your friends' preferences, so you can ask your friends about a good place to go. And that's the tricky part about doing research. Someone can make a YouTube video saying, I love this resort, but the important thing is that you learn specifics about the resort, objective things, like, oh, it has 3 pools, it has 2 jacuzzis, it has a buffet at night. See, things that are objective and specific. Because really, I mean, for me personally, at the buffet, all I really need is fruits and vegetables. So I'm not going to be picky, because the reason why I go to a resort like this is not to eat lots and lots of food. It's to just enjoy the weather and the beach and the ocean, being in an exotic location for 1 week before I go back to working a lot of hours. So that's all I can say, I suppose. Don't look at the management photos, because they're just gonna show a picturesque environment. Meaning, yeah, the beach might look different now than it did 4 years ago. So that was the main point I was trying to make about the management photos. And the reviews, when I said don't read 5-star reviews, it means just disregard any 5-star reviews that don't offer helpful information, objective facts about the resort, or because all that does will increase your expectations, and you don't want that. You want to keep your expectations lower rather than higher. You don't want to go in thinking that it's going to align with your ideal version of what the perfect, your ideal experience. You don't want to envision something. You don't want to envision having a perfect, what you believe is going to be a perfect experience, and then only to have your expectations let down. That's the worst thing. Yes, I've been to a resort that I had certain expectations for, and when it ended up not meeting those expectations compared to another resort that I've been to, then I was a little bit disappointed, and that was an experience that I will not forget. So what that taught me is really that not all resorts are the same. Sometimes you might be let down a little bit, but that's just a learning experience, and you have to figure out what you didn't like about that resort, and then you have to do your research, find other resorts that will have things that other resort was lacking, which you really wanted. So if you really want a kind of a livelier atmosphere, or if you really want a quiet atmosphere, or if you really want, I don't know, drink service at the beach or something like that, and you don't have that, then you're just going to have to think about, you're going to have to think next time about how you can find a resort that has the things that you're looking for. So figure out, when you've been to a all-inclusive once or twice, maybe you'll figure out what you really enjoy, and then just try to do your research and find resorts that might replicate that experience. So for example, I like when there's a buffet at night, lots of food options. I like to walk around a lot. I like a nice, calm, clear beach, and this is what Hyatt Ziva has. So ultimately, that's what I like. So I've come back here again. I've also been to Excellence Riviera Cancun, which is in Puerto Morelos, which has a huge territory. They clean up the seaweed very well over there, so the beach is pretty swimmable. And they also have lots of food options, adults only resort. So, in another video I might talk about other resorts that we've been to and the experiences we've had there. Because we've been to quite a few resorts, we've also walked around to quite a few resorts. For example, if you stay at a Rio Palace resort, like Rio Palace Las Americas or Rio Palace Peninsula, you get a gold colored bracelet which lets you visit any other Rio. So we've been to a few of the Rio resorts here. We stayed at one of them and visited the other ones. We just walked around and we took the bus there. So we've been to a few resorts in Punta Cana, a few resorts in Mexico, and I'd definitely like to share some of those experiences with you. This resort is Hyatt Ziva Cancun, located in Cancun, Mexico. Very nice beach, and not sure if I'm going to go here again soon necessarily, just because we like to visit other resorts, but I cannot say I'm disappointed with this experience. This has been a good experience so far. Again, we had to switch rooms because our first room had some issues. Sometimes that happens. It's not uncommon, really. This is actually, in all the vacations that we've been to, this is the 4th time that we've had to switch rooms. So don't be afraid to speak up, certainly, if your room has a problem, like the TV not working, or the electrical outlet's not working, or the toilet is leaking, or mosquitoes can get through the doorway, between the door and the doorway, and potentially wake you up at night. So even if they can't resolve your issue, always bring it up to the front desk, because it never hurts to just tell them that there's an issue, and maybe they can give you an upgrade to a better room, because right, they want you to be a repeat customer and come back. So never a bad idea to voice your complaints, not complaints, but things that are not working properly, because that can also help them identify what kind of issues they need to work on, what they need to fix, what they need to improve at the property, and hopefully maybe they will actually do that. So I will see you next time to talk about some of the particular resorts that we've been to in Mexico, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.